Welcome to Learn English Podcast every day. Your daily dose of fun, practical, and easy to understand English, anytime, anywhere. Whether you're on the bus, cooking dinner, or taking a break, we've got you covered. This channel helps you improve your speaking and listening. So hit that subscribe button bell and start your journey to confident English, one day at a time. Let's get started.
You know that smell? Something great cooking outside, maybe grilling, and you hear people chatting, laughing. There's just a special vibe to a family barbecue, right?
Definitely. It feels very distinct.
Yeah.
So today we're really digging into what makes those gatherings work. Our source is this transcript of a conversation, mainly aimed at helping people learn English.
Right.
And it turns out even something as simple seeming as a barbecue is full of, well, cultural stuff and, of course, some handy vocabulary.
Absolutely. It's more than just food.
Yeah. And for you listening, if you like getting straight to the point but also getting the full picture, this is perfect. It's a way to really understand the little details of a super common social thing. We're basically going to pull this conversation apart and see what it tells us about what family barbecues really mean. So our mission.
Let me guess.
Haha, yeah. Extract key bits, the insights about family barbecues from this material. Okay, let's get into it.
It's actually amazing how much an everyday thing like a family barbecue can reveal about culture and language, too.
The conversation we're looking at, it really paints a picture of a typical one. You know, it's outside, everything's focused on cooking over some kind of heat source.
The grill. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the food they talk about is pretty much what you'd expect. They've got marinated steaks, chicken,
Classic.
the essential buns, you know, for hamburgers and hot dogs. They're even planning on a couple dozen hot dogs. That's quite a few.
Wow, yeah. A couple dozen is like, what, 24, 25? That's a crowd.
Easily. And they mention kebabs too, which kind of hints at the variety you might get. It's not always just burgers and dogs.
True. So it's definitely more involved than just, throwing a couple of burgers on the grill. There's a whole setup.
Oh, for sure.
They talk about bringing out lawn furniture, putting up a tent.
Which isn't for camping, obviously.
No, just for shade, right? Or maybe if it drizzles. And I liked this detail. A guest is bringing cups and servettes.
Ah, yes, the servettes.
Which, as the source explains, is a British way of saying napkins. Useful to know. And, crucially, 2 large coolers for the beers. Sounds like they mean business.
Priorities. You need the coolers.
Definitely well prepared. And then, like perfect comedy timing, the chat ends right as the rain starts.
Typical. But that actually leads us into some interesting language points from the source material.
Okay.
It clarifies that barbecue itself can mean 2 things. The event, the gathering.
Like we're having a barbecue.
Exactly. And also the way you cook. The verb to barbecue means cooking meat over intense heat, usually fire or hot coals, not, your kitchen stove.
Got it. Event and action.
Then there's marinate. That's about adding flavor before cooking.
Yeah.
Soaking the meat in spices, lemon juice, herbs, salts, maybe overnight.
Right, letting it soak in.
Yeah, they give a good example from Indian cooking, where you might marinate meat in a yogurt sauce for a long time. Gives you great flavor and tenderness.
That overnight marinating, that shows real dedication. And then they get specific about the bread hamburger buns and hot dog buns, pointing out their specific shapes for those foods. Seems obvious, but it shows how language gets precise about food.
It does. And that phrase, a couple dozen, we already touched on it, good to know, means around 24 or 25, not just a few.
Yeah, definitely more than 12.
And kebabs, the source describes those as pieces of meat, often with vegetables too, threaded onto skewers and then grilled. Very common in the Middle East, but popular lots of places.
Right, meat on a stick, basically, but sounds way better as kebab.
Pretty much. Then, beyond the food, the conversation touches on the setting and supplies. Lawn furniture is one term.
Okay, so that's specifically outdoor furniture.
Exactly. Designed to handle the weather.
Yeah.
So plastic, maybe stone, metal, not your nice indoor armchair.
Definitely not. And then the grill itself.
Right. The source calls it an outdoor appliance using gas, propane, or coals for cooking.
So, just to be clear, the barbecue is the whole party. The grill is the cooking thing.
You got it. And the tent we mentioned. Not for sleeping under the stars.
No camping involved.
No. Just a temporary fabric cover for sun protection. Or, like you said, a bit of rain. Very useful.
Practical.
And servettes. That's a great example of language changing by region. British English for napkins.
The things you use to wipe your hands and mouth.
Precisely. Those essential paper bits. And finally, the cooler.
Ah, the beer holder.
Well, yes, often. But technically, it's that non-electric insulated box.
Yep.
You put ice in to keep drinks cold. Or, as they note, it can keep hot food warm, too.
Versatile. It's all these practical things that make the barbecue happen, isn't it?
They definitely help. But it's so clear from the conversation, it's about way more than just the stuff and the food.
Oh, yeah.
The speakers talk about how good it feels relaxing outside, enjoying that grilled food, just connecting with friends and family. It really comes across as something special, a valued social time.
Totally. A cherished event.
And they mention specific times people have barbecues. Summer, obviously. July 4th in the U.S.
Good barbecue day.
Huge. And interestingly, Chilean Independence Day, September 18th. They note how common it is there, too. So the reasons might change, the dates are different, but that urge for this kind of outdoor group meal seems pretty universal.
That's a great point. It's global. And they really stress that the main thing is spending quality time together, not just the eating part.
Right.
They list all the shared activities: cooking together, prepping food, chopping veggies, making sauces, sorting drinks, setting up the space, cleaning the grill, arranging chairs. It sounds like a team effort.
That teamwork aspect feels really important. And while good weather is nice,
Always helps.
it does. But they make the point that the real core is the spirit of togetherness. Sometimes, even if it's not perfect weather, people still want to gather and connect.
Yeah, you make do, maybe huddle under the tent for a bit. Which brings us to the overall feeling, the atmosphere.
Joyful is how they describe it.
Yeah, you can almost hear it, people around the grill laughing, kids running around, adults catching up. It's that informal, relaxed feeling that seems key.
And that difference between eating outside versus inside dining is, I think, quite significant.
Yeah.
Being in the open air, the casual style, it just creates a different vibe, often more relaxed, maybe more memorable.
I think so. And the idea of everyone bringing their favorite dish to share,
Potluck style, yeah.
that adds to the community feel, doesn't it? Plus, you get to try different things.
Variety is the spice of life and barbecues.
Exactly. And it's not just eating. They mention other stuff, too. Games, taking photos, music playing, just having easy, unhurried conversations.
The whole social package.
It really is. And ultimately, they say these gatherings foster connection, a feeling of safety and happiness. That's pretty profound for a backyard cookout.
It is. And actually, social psychology kind of backs this up. Shared meals, especially relaxed ones outdoors, really do seem to boost bonding and trust in groups.
Interesting.
And that collaborative food prep we talked about, that strengthens ties too through working together towards a common goal.
Makes total sense. It shows the deeper meaning. And how they describe the end of the barbecue is telling, too.
Winding down.
Yeah, people relaxing after eating, cleaning up together, another shared task, reminiscing about the day, maybe even planning the next one. It's like a full social cycle.
It really is.
And that point about the memories being more important than the food itself, that really hits home.
I agree.
Especially when you think about kids growing up with these events, that feeling of belonging they must get. It all adds up to show that a family barbecue, really, it teaches us about togetherness, about sharing, and just enjoying simple, happy moments.
Well said. Which loops us back nicely to the language side and how the source reinforces all this. There's that helpful vocabulary review section.
Right, the list of words.
Yeah, it revisits the key terms. Yeah. Barbecue, marinate dozen, kebab, grill, tent, servette, cooler, lawn furniture, hamburger bun. It gives definitions, example sentences.
But what's neat is how we didn't really need a separate list just now.
Exactly. The terms just came up naturally as we talked through what happens at a barbecue. Like when servettes came up, we immediately talked about it being British for napkins.
Yeah, it felt integrated, not like a vocab drill.
Yeah.
Much better for actually remembering them, I think. It's like you experience the barbecue through the words.
Precisely. So pulling it all together, this deep dive, using this English learning material as our guide, it shows a family barbecue is way more than just cooking outside.
Much more.
It's a really meaningful tradition about connection, being together, making good memories, and yeah, it comes with its own set of useful words.
Absolutely. And for you listening, someone who likes to get to the core of things efficiently, I hope this showed how even a topic like barbecues can give you both that cultural understanding and some practical language insights all rolled into one.
It does raise a question, though, maybe for you to think about. What simple traditions exist in your own life that spark those same feelings? Connection, joy.
Good question.
And maybe, how does language help you share and understand why those moments matter? Perhaps it makes you think about a great barbecue you went to, or one you'd like to have.
Something to chew on. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Until next time.
Let's listen the dialogue about the topic.
My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have an elementary level lesson about food, one of my favorite things to talk about.
That's right. We are going to talk about food, but specifically we're going to talk about a family barbecue.
Okay, what is a family barbecue? Well, I'll just say a few words first. A barbecue is usually something that we do outside. We bring food, we play games, maybe have some drinks, and a lot of the food is grilled. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to hear this dialogue first, and then we'll come back to talk about it.
Is everything ready for the big family barbecue tomorrow?
Yep, the steaks and chicken are marinated, and I also bought hamburger buns.
We should also cook a couple dozen hot dogs and kebabs.
Yeah, good idea. We could put some lawn furniture outside next to the grill. I also set up the tent outside so we can hide from the sun if it gets too hot.
Great! I asked Grace to bring cups and serviettes, as she is also bringing 2 big coolers for the beers.
This is going to be a great barbecue.
Oh no, it's raining!
All right, we're back. So probably a couple of words you didn't really understand. So let's take a look at those now in language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Lots of food words, Marco. The first one is barbecue. We were talking about that a minute ago. A barbecue is something we do usually for something, a special occasion or for dinner. It's a summertime thing. You know, you go outside when it's warm and the entire family comes and we have food. Sometimes people even bring food.
Right. And actually, as you mentioned, it's something that you do a barbecue. You have a family barbecue, but it's also a verb to barbecue something. So to cook meat on a barbecue. So that's cooking meat, not in a stove, not with gas. Usually it's under a fire or very warm, intense heat coming from coals.
Exactly. And so before we cook food, usually before we cook meat on the grill, before we barbecue it, we have to marinate it. Okay? So in this situation, the steaks and the chicken are already marinated.
Okay. So to marinate something which is a verb, or the steaks and chickens are marinated, which is an adjective. So basically means that you have added spices and maybe some lemon juice, different herbs or salts to the meats in order to give it flavor before you cook them.
Exactly. Sometimes in Indian cooking, for example, you marinate with a yogurt sauce and you leave the meat in the refrigerator for a whole night.
Exactly.
So marinating or to marinate is a process to give flavor to food.
Very good. All right. So we've marinated our food, our chicken, our steaks, but also we have hamburgers. So we need hamburger buns. What are buns?
Okay. Buns are pieces of bread that are for special kinds of food. So you have a hamburger bun. It's a round piece of bread, and the hamburger goes on one piece and under another piece. A hot dog bun is different. It's like a piece of bread that's folded, and the hot dog goes in the middle. So bun is a special kind of bread for these kinds of foods.
All right. So remember, if you want to have a hot dog, you need to buy hot dog buns. So people know already that you're talking about bread. And if you want to buy a hamburger bread, you say a hamburger bun.
That's right. So hamburger buns and hot dog buns. But after we talk about having the hamburger buns, we discuss how many hot dogs we're going to cook. So the person says we should cook a couple dozen hot dogs.
All right. So a dozen is 12 units of something.
Right. So eggs are sold in dozens. We buy a dozen eggs. We buy 12 eggs.
Okay. Or you can say half a dozen. That means 6.
Half of 12. And a couple dozen is usually around 24, 25.
Okay. Very good. So a dozen hot dogs, and they are also getting kebabs. What are kebabs?
One of my favorite foods. Kebabs are sticks or skewers of meat. So you have a very thin stick and you put the meat on it and you put that on the grill and you cook the meat on the grill.
So, yeah, those are very common. For example, in the Middle East, right? You have kebabs, sticks of meat, and also maybe some vegetables put on it, and you grill them.
Exactly. Very flavorful, very tasty meat.
All right, so why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll come back shortly to look at some more words.
Is everything ready for the big family barbecue tomorrow?
Yep, the steaks and chicken are marinated, and I also bought hamburger buns.
We should also cook a couple dozen hot dogs and kebabs.
Yeah, good idea. We could put some lawn furniture outside next to the grill. I also set up the tent outside so we can hide from the sun if it gets too hot.
Great! I asked Grace to bring cups and serviettes, as she is also bringing 2 big coolers for the beers.
This is going to be a great barbecue.
All right, we're back. So now why don't we go to a second part of language takeaway and take a look at 5 more words.
Language takeaway.
All right, the first word that we're going to look at is lawn furniture. So we're going to have lawn furniture outside.
Okay, so before we even start thinking about food, we have to decide where people will sit at this barbecue. And so we have to find out how much lawn furniture we have. Furniture can be a sofa, a table, a chair. We have furniture in the house, but lawn furniture is furniture for the outside. A lawn is
Right.
the green grass outside your house.
So it's usually not going to be made out of wood, for example, because if it rains, it might get ruined, right? So usually it's either plastic or maybe even rock or stone.
Or metal.
Or metal. So that's what lawn furniture is. Furniture that is made to be outside in your backyard, for example, or that sits on your lawn.
Exactly. And so we're going to be on the lawn furniture. We have the special thing for cooking meat outside, the grill.
Okay, so we mentioned that you grill chicken or you grill steaks, but it's also a noun, a grill. So a grill, what is that?
A grill is like a stove for the outside, but instead of having electricity to make the fire, we have gas or propane. And this is something that we light on fire. We use coals to keep the insides very warm. And so this is just a way to cook meats or even vegetables outside.
Okay, perfect. So that is a grill. And if you're going to cook foods or vegetables in this way, so you're going to grill them. All right. And well, just in case it gets hot and you want to hide from the sun, we are going to set up a tent.
Okay, a tent. You can sleep in a tent, but in this case, a tent is just a covering outside. So maybe some cloth or some fabric that will stand over us when we sit down or want to be outside. It's also a way to protect us from the rain.
Right. So as you mentioned, a tent is something that you set up temporarily made out of cloth or plastic to protect you from the sun or rain. Or if you're going camping, you sleep in one. All right. And now that they have all the food, they need cups. And then they mentioned this strange word. It kind of sounds French. Serviettes.
Serviettes. So I do think it comes from the French word. This is a British way of saying napkins.
A napkin.
It's like paper for cleaning your hands and cleaning your mouth that you throw away.
Okay, so you can say napkins, or if you want to sound a little bit more fancier, you can say serviettes.
And speaking of fancy, let's talk about beer. Where do we keep beer? It has to stay cold, right?
Right, so usually you would place it in a refrigerator, but if you're outside or you're going camping, you want to keep them cold or you want to keep something hot. You place it in a cooler.
Okay, so a cooler is a plastic bin or a plastic box that we put all of the ice in and the drinks. So it's not just for beer, it's also for Coke and Sprite and all these different drinks.
Right, so it's usually made to keep something cool, but as I said, if you want to keep something warm, you can also keep it in the cooler. It keeps the temperature of the foods.
And the nice thing is that it's not electric, so you can use it anywhere.
Right. All right, so that's all the words for today. Why don't we listen to our dialogue for the last time?
Is everything ready for the big family barbecue tomorrow?
Yep, the steaks and chicken are marinated, and I also bought hamburger buns.
We should also cook a couple dozen hot dogs and kebabs.
Yeah, good idea. We could put some lawn furniture outside next to the grill. I also set up the tent outside so we can hide from the sun if it gets too hot.
Great! I asked Grace to bring cups and serviettes, as she is also bringing 2 big coolers for the beers.
This is going to be a great barbecue.
Oh no, it's raining!
All right, we're back. So family barbecues and doing these things. Did you do these when you were young at home? Do you still like to do it?
All the time. I love barbecues. That's one of my favorite ways to eat food. The nice thing about a barbecue is you get to sit outside and relax, and there's nothing better than nice, fresh grilled meat.
Right, and well, you have all your friends over, so you're having a couple of beers and you're having some meat, and it's actually a really nice way of just having something at home with good friends and family, right?
Exactly, and some of the most important barbecues we have are in the summer near July 4th. And so people like to have July 4th barbecues where you celebrate Independence Day and sit outside and drink and have hot dogs and hamburgers and macaroni and cheese.
Actually, well, I was in Chile. I noticed that as well. Near their festivities for their independence, which is September 18th, a lot of people get together and have barbecues, and it's so popular that pretty much every house in the neighborhood you can smell somebody barbecuing on the weekend.
You're making me so hungry.
Family barbecue is a special time when family members come together to cook and enjoy food outside. It is not only about eating but also about spending time together. Many people love this kind of event because it is a chance to relax, talk, and laugh. In many countries, families like to have barbecues in their gardens, backyards, or parks. The smell of food cooking on the grill makes people feel happy and excited. Barbecue is more than just food, it is about the feeling of being with people you love. Families may sit around the table, share stories, and listen to music. Some people like to play games or sit quietly and enjoy the fresh air. A family barbecue can help people feel close and create good memories. Even if the food is simple, the time spent together is what makes it special. In this topic, we will explore how family barbecues are not only fun but also help people connect with each other. We will also learn some easy English words and phrases that can help you talk about food, family, and outdoor activities. As we continue, you will see how a simple barbecue can teach us more than just cooking. It can teach us about family, friendship, and enjoying small moments in life. Before the family barbecue starts, there is always some planning and preparation. People think about what food they want to cook and what they need to bring. Some families like to prepare meat like chicken or sausages, while others enjoy vegetables, bread, or even fruits. Everyone has different tastes, and that makes the barbecue more interesting. Preparing the food can also be part of the fun. Some people help to cut vegetables, others make sauces, and some take care of the drinks. It is a way for everyone to take part and feel included. The place where the barbecue happens also needs attention. People might clean the grill, set up tables and chairs, or put out decorations. Sometimes they bring music speakers or games for children. These small things make the event feel warm and welcoming. When families prepare together, they talk, joke, and work as a team. It is not just about the food being ready but about the time spent doing something together. Even the weather is important for a family barbecue. People often check the sky and hope for a sunny day. But even if the weather is not perfect, many families find ways to enjoy the day. They might use umbrellas or move the barbecue to a covered place. What matters most is the spirit of togetherness, not the weather or the size of the party. When the food is ready and the fire is hot, the family barbecue becomes a time of joy. People gather around the grill, enjoying the smells and sounds of the food cooking. The air is filled with laughter and happy voices. Children run around playing, while adults talk and share stories. Some people like to sit quietly and watch the food being prepared, while others help turn the meat or serve the food on plates. Eating together outside feels different from eating inside the house. The open air, the sunshine, and the simple style of barbecue make the meal feel more special. People take their time to eat, taste the food, and enjoy the company of family and friends. Sometimes, people bring their favorite dishes to share with others, and that adds more flavors to the table. During the barbecue, people do more than eat. They may play games, take photos, or listen to music. These small activities make the day more colorful and full of memories. Even small talks about daily life can feel more meaningful in this relaxed setting. The family barbecue becomes a place where people feel connected, safe, and happy to be together. When the food is finished and people start to feel full, the family barbecue slowly becomes quieter. Some people sit and rest, enjoying the calm after the meal. Others help clean the table, pick up trash, and wash the dishes. Cleaning up is also part of the day, and when family members do it together, it feels lighter and easier. It is another chance to talk, laugh, and work as a team. Even though the food is gone, the good feelings stay. People often sit together for a while, talking about the day and sharing their favorite moments. Some might plan the next barbecue or other family events. The barbecue becomes more than a meal, it becomes a memory that stays in people's hearts. These memories are important because they remind people of the joy of being together. For children, the end of the barbecue is also special. They may still play, run, or find small ways to keep the fun going. Adults may sit back, relax, and watch the sunset. The feeling of togetherness remains even after the food is gone and the grill is cold. Family barbecue is more than cooking and eating food outdoors. It teaches people about togetherness, sharing, and enjoying simple moments. It shows how food can bring people closer, how working together makes things easier, and how small events can create big memories. When people sit, eat, laugh, and spend time outside, they feel more connected to each other and to nature. For people learning English, talking about family barbecue can be a good way to learn new words and phrases about food, family, and outdoor fun. It also gives them a chance to talk about their own family traditions, favorite foods, and happy times. Learning English is not only about studying books, it is also about using the language to talk about real-life moments like a barbecue. Thank you for listening to this topic about family barbecue. We hope it helped you learn new words and understand more about how people spend time together. If you enjoyed this, feel free to listen again, share it with friends, or try talking about your own family barbecue in English.